Children. It really has done a world of good for our girls as they have grown up. So let's pray together. We are thankful for this day you have given us, for its blessings, its opportunities, and its challenges. May we appreciate and use each day that comes to us. We pray for strength and guidance for every day as it comes, for each day's duties and its problems. May we be challenged to give our best always and to cheerfully serve whenever given the chance. And everyone said, amen.
Amen. Thank you, Garner. Do we have visiting Rotarians and or guests joining us today?
Yes, we do. Could I introduce Barb?
Absolutely, please do.
So Barb Bakos is president, owner of Power Source Transportation, is with us, and she will perhaps say a few words. I don't know if it's allowed.
Yeah, and if I could mention somebody as well, Deb.
I want to thank you so much for allowing me to be your guest. My dad was actually, I think, a Rotarian president years ago, like in the 70s. And I remember we actually had a Japanese gal that came over as a student and lived with us for the summer. And I saw what good it did when I was growing up. So I am really excited to hopefully be active with you guys.
Wonderful. Welcome, Barb. Glad to have you.
Thank you so much.
Matt, I'm sorry, did you have someone?
Yeah, thanks, Dawn. I just want to introduce one of my team members. Amy Matthews is joining us today. I don't think she's ever been to a Rotary meeting. So everybody, please say hi to Amy Matthews, my guest.
Yeah. Hi, Amy. Welcome. Jane.
And we have Jamie Wolf. She's here from Tech Credit Union, thanks to Jean Novello. So Jamie, if you want to say hello to everybody.
Hello, thank you guys for letting me be here today.
Hi, Jamie.
Yes, hello to you and thank you for joining us. We're happy to have you. Anyone else? If not, and no, you're not now. Did you have something to say, Larry? All right, if not, Andrew Lucas, are you with us for Sergeant at Arms?
I am. I'm glad Larry's not just messing up my part of the show here. All right, Sergeant at Arms. We'll do good news and I'll start. How about that? So my good news is that I have coached the Valparaiso High School mock trial team for years now, 13 years, I think. It's basically speech and debate in a lawyer format. And my son's team, third year I've worked with them, did well in the regionals, finished second in the regionals. They competed at the state tournament. They got smoked at the state tournament. They didn't do great, but it was a lot of fun. And so I'm very proud of those guys, and that's my good news. With that said, let's go around the horn and have good news. I see Bill Steinbrecher raising his hand. Go ahead, Bill.
On Thursday, I will see my 95-year-old sister Louise in Maumee, Ohio, where she's in a nursing home for the first time in 13 months.
I am sure she will appreciate seeing you. Congratulations, Bill.
Thank you.
Anybody else with good news? Jack's got his hand up.
Yeah, I've got good news. On Saturday, I got my second COVID-19 Pfizer vaccination. I will confess that Saturday night was not a real good night. And Sunday, I nursed along a 101 degree temperature. Fortunately, I had an amazing, gorgeous red-haired nurse from United Way that was able to help me through it. Thank you, Kim. But you know, it was a little bit, you know, it wasn't the end of the world. I gotta plug my wife. She really was just wonderful. But it wasn't the end of the world, but it was, you know, a little bit discomforting, and no question that you knew that you got the shot. But, you know, this morning I woke up raring to go, back in the saddle. So, you know, my thinking on this, it really is good news. And the return on investment for one day of a little bit of discomfort, balanced against knowing that, you know, I've got 94% immunity, I think it's a really good ROI. So that's my good news.
I'm giving Kim the best eye roll of the meeting award for that. Jack may wish he got knocked out by COVID when she gets home tonight. I don't know.
I'm across the house. We're working from home, so
Oh,
it won't last that long. Yes.
you got that fancy United Way sticker. I figured you were at the office. Guess not. All right.
She's in
It's
her
all
office
optics,
and I'm in
Andrew.
mine.
All right. Let's see. Screen number 2. Garner. Garner's got his hand up.
Yeah, Mary and I got to travel to Tuscaloosa this past weekend for our youngest daughter's. She's on the women's rowing team at the University of Alabama. And because of COVID, they've not had a race for the last 12 months. So this was their first race in a year. Rachel was in 3 races and her boat won all 3 of them.
Wow.
And her teammates won the other 5 races. So they were 8 for 8 on Saturday morning, and it was a lot of fun to see them back on the water.
Roll
Good
Tide.
weekend. Let's see. Minashi. It's got her hand up.
I've got a couple of thank yous. First of all, thank you for my company, Remax Lifestyles and Matt Evans. They not only brought my awards for real estate as well as for helping the Miracle Children's Network and Riley Hospital to my house, but they put this big cutout of me with congratulations in my yard. That was so funny. Then my second thank you is to, and congratulations to the Porter County Community Foundation and Bill Higbee for the 25th anniversary this year, if you didn't know. And thank you very much for, you know, giving me the honor of featuring me on one of their anniversary billboards. So if anybody's driving past, there's one on 149 north of 80 past the bike bridge. And then this week, there's a digital one on 2 near where the old animal shelter used to be. So you can see my face on those. Thanks.
Congratulations, Minashi. Greg Farrell.
I just wanted to update everybody. It was good news. Yesterday, I got the shot down in the Speedway. And it was just really cool and really proud to be a Hoosier. The state's doing a great job. They had 6,000 shots administered Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for a total of 18,000. It was really cool. You just drive up, you never leave your car, you drive right down Gasoline Alley. You basically make a pit stop, you get your shot, and you drive right down the pit lane, and then you go park for 15 minutes and you go home. So it was the Johnson & Johnson shot, 1 shot. And I just thought I'd, you know, update everybody just so you know that it's going on. It was worth a 2-hour drive just to be able to, you know, be on the raceway like that. It's a pretty cool experience.
Pretty cool.
Cool.
Hey, Andrew, if I just mentioned to Greg, maybe we could open up US 30 drag strip again around here and get people to go there for shots, huh?
No doubt, right? It was really cool. It was, you know, it was on the infield. You go underneath the track and then you go over the track, and then basically you're right at the start finish line. And, you know, it was good of, you know, the Speedway to open up like they've done. And they have the facilities, and there was just tons of people from the National Guard there with camouflage, you know, fatigues that kept me off the track for sure. It was very tempting to go just turn a little right and get on the track. Stayed away from it.
All right. Mr. Evans, do you have something?
I do. I'd like to mention that my son got admitted to Purdue University, and this is kind of old news. It was about a month ago, but we're very proud of him to get admitted to the School of Technology studying engineering. So congratulations to our son, Logan.
Did you say Purdue?
I did say Purdue.
Boiler up. Boiler up. All right. Anybody else?
Alex is fourth year College of Engineering at Purdue. And I just got to put a plug in for Purdue University. We shot a PBS documentary down there with wonderful help from Mitch Daniels, the president and chancellor there. And, you know, Purdue is just one of the top 5 engineering schools in America. So it's an amazing place. Your son is very fortunate to be going there.
Larry Raber. Larry, did you raise your hand or are you having a stroke? Take your mic off, Larry. You're muted. You're muted, Larry.
Okay.
All right, give it a go, man.
Said Dawn, you muted me, so I didn't. It's her fault.
It is not Dawn's fault.
No, that was me, Larry. I mute you all the time. Don't worry about it.
Well, I nobody cares what I say anyway. But I went and put on my Alabama hat because they kept mentioning Alabama today, and it's for sale. So if somebody wants this from Alabama, I could sell it and get some of the money back that I sent to Alabama. That would be good. So anyway, I'm sorry I didn't have any intelligence to say.
Thank you for your contribution, Larry.
Yeah,
Let's see.
you're nice.
Nick Earhart. Yep. You raising your hand?
Yeah, so it seems like we're plugging university news here, so I might as well join in. We launched our fully online MBA program earlier this spring, so we're now fully online, fully asynchronous, which is a big deal for professionals that are looking to update, write skill, add credentials to their resume. So we're super excited about it, and our faculty members are very impressive and how quickly we turn this around. And one of them is sitting right here, Dr. Musa Pinara, by the way. So go Valpo.
All right. Thank you. Any other good news? Anybody else want to raise their hand? I messed up the screen share I tried last time I tried it. Can somebody give me authority to share my screen? Oh, look there. Can you guys see my kids?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. So here's the sergeant skit. This is the last meeting I will be hawking goats, okay? That's what I'm doing. I'm trying to get the goat out of my freezer. So if you gave to the 4-H auction last year and you would like some of the processed goat that Rotary bought, I would be happy to do it. My son is delivering on Wednesday. This is a picture of my children at the fair probably 3 years ago. If you see my son now, he looks like a 30-year-old man. He doesn't look like that anymore. So anyway, and I've got a special going. I've got a special just for you guys. If you think to yourself, boy, I would really like to get some goat, but I didn't give last year. If you promise to contribute to the 4-H auction this year, and you chat me by the end of the meeting, you can still get in on that deal. So with that in mind, here's some goat facts for today's sergeant skip. Goats do not eat tin cans. Don't know if you knew that. These are real. I didn't make these up. I looked them up and I was proud. I was happy to see this one. Goat owners do not always look or smell like their livestock. That's number 3 on the list. Goat meat's one of the most popular meat on the planet, mainly outside of the United States. Most expensive goat ever sold. This sounds like a John Kraft thing, but most expensive goat ever sold, $194,000. And trust me, if your kids do 4-H, you can understand how somebody would be crazy enough to spend that sort of money on an animal that the day after the fair is worth like $30, okay? $194,000. Last 2, racehorses are often given a goat friend so they'll not be lonely in the stall. Leading to the term getting someone's goat comes from the unsportsmanlike practice of stealing the competition's goat to unsettle a horse before the race. So there's more than you ever wanted to know about goats. If you emailed me, my son's probably delivering on Wednesday afternoon. I'll get a hold of you. Last chance, if you want some and you promise to give this year, you shoot me an email or chat me and we'll get you hooked up.
Great. Thank you, Andrew. Lots of good news. All right, a few announcements before we turn it over to our speaker for today. I sent a flyer courtesy of Steve Zalahusky. The Valparaiso Schools Foundation is doing a fundraiser. You can buy a brick for a legacy walk that they are doing. I will attach it to this week's email too if you are interested. Andrew did talk about the goat meat, so please get a hold of him as soon as possible if you would like some. March 29th, we are having Congressman Frank Mervyn join us via Zoom. So please feel free to invite a guest to listen to his program. It should be very interesting and we're excited to have him. The library garden ribbon cutting is May 12th at 5:30. Again, we've got 3 guests today, so it's very easy to share a link and invite someone to Rotary. So please continue to do so. That is wonderful. Lastly, Mary Beth Schultz, a former Rotarian, she retired, has been awarded the Sagamore of the Wabash Award. And the presentation will be by Facebook Live on March 12th. So we congratulate Mary Beth. And if any of you are interested in watching, please tune in March 12th, Facebook Live. All right, I will turn it over to Deb Wapple, who will introduce our guest today. Deb? I'm sorry, Deb, can you unmute?
She's like
You
frozen.
like all the facial expressions? Okay. Well, as I was saying, I was typing on chat and realized I'm supposed to introduce Matt. So Matt is one of our very own members. He is a native of Valparaiso. He is a broker owner of Remax Lifestyles on Lincoln Way in Valpo. He oversees over a dozen active agents, and he's experienced in residential, commercial, investment, real estate sales. He's high volume and high dollar licensed broker in Indiana and a former licensed broker associate in Colorado, where he helped grow the local company, Fort Collins Real Estate, into a successful merger candidate. Matt and his wife, Colleen, live in Fort Collins, Colorado. They did live there for 15 years, where they owned and operated the Mountain Shop, an outdoor retail store with climbing, skiing, and paddle sports gear, and where they were active in home design and building. And that's where Matt got into real estate and where his 2 kids were born. Matt is also a home builder, having actively built 3 complete homes and renovated several others. Exciting. And his wife is an interior designer. That comes in handy, doesn't it? And is also a graduate of Purdue University. They have lots of projects behind them. They're on their 10th project now in an 1890s home on Washington Street in Valpo. So Matt, his wife, and their daughter and son, Keely and Logan, live in Valpo, as I said. They believe in giving back to the community they live in through many ways, including he's with the City of Valpo Plan Commission, president of the Valpo Chamber of Commerce, executive board of the Valparaiso Rotary. He's with the board of the Valpo Schools Foundation and Valpo Park Foundation. What a busy guy. And he's educated through Valpo High School and Valparaiso University with an MS in marketing. Also, Purdue Granite School of Management. Matt, how have you had time for the rest of your life?
Thanks.
So, he is going to catch us up on real estate issues in Valparaiso. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the great introduction, and I appreciate it. A lot of these folks know me already, and it's good to see everybody on Zoom today. It looks like we've got a really good crowd here today, and I'm excited to present to you our State of Real Estate report. We did this last back in 2019, so I'm excited to be here again. The market has changed, and I'm excited to share that data with you. I did want to just, again, give a shout out to Amy Matthews from my team, who is here on the call today as a Rotary guest. Amy, if you'd wave at everybody. And then I think there's a couple agents on here too. Jackie and Meenakshi, I think, are also on. Don't think Jim could join us today. So thanks everybody for being here, and we appreciate you listening to our presentation. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Deb, if you could give me a check on that to make sure it comes up when I do.
Okay, let's see, a black screen.
It's going to take a minute to load, I think. So yeah,
Mary Jo will be better at this. Okay, I see it.
we got it. State of real estate slide is up. Perfect. Okay. Okay, so again, thanks everybody for joining, and we're going to focus on Valparaiso today. I'm not really going to talk too much about Indiana or Chicagoland or anything like that. We will hit on a few things. And of course, we are part of Chicagoland, so that does have a big effect on our market, and it is right now. You know, everything was pretty covered about my background, but here's a quick slide again, both a VU and a Purdue grad. I'm happy to be one of the top 10 agents in Porter County. If you combine all my production from residential and commercial, and a couple other awards there, but I really love giving back to the community as you all do. I love being part of Valparaiso, being back here after living in Colorado for 15 years. I realized how much I did want to give back into a community that raised me. So happy to do so. All right, on the real estate market, the thing you're probably all hearing is how low the inventory is and how quickly homes especially are selling. So we're going to start kind of on the residential side of things, and then I'll move into the commercial side of things. Certainly a lot of our demand is coming out of Illinois. We had a ton of people moving here from the great state of Illinois because of many reasons: high taxes, high cost of living, unrest, civil unrest, and the ability now to telecommute to Chicago. Maybe they only have to go to their office once a week. Maybe they don't have to go to their office at all right now. So we are definitely reaping the benefit as a housing market from relocation from Illinois. And they cite many things. One of the first things they cite is the quality of our park system, the cost of our housing, the safety, and it's a good place to raise family. So, and you'll see that in the housing report that I'm going to share from the city of Valparaiso that came out just this last week. I'm going to cover that briefly. A lot of it's online for you to review. But one of the things they found is that young adults and seniors are leading the way. So the age group 25 to 34 and seniors are coming back to Valpo, wanting to be around family again and wanting to live here for the quality of life. The other thing that's happening is interest rates are extremely low right now. Interest rates went all the way down to 2.75% for 15-year mortgages and right around 3% for 30-year mortgages. Unbelievably cheap money. So that's causing a lot of people to want to buy or to trade up in homes. Then, of course, we had the pandemic effect, which we mentioned already, driving people here from Chicagoland, downtown, because they can now live in suburbia. Then you have the cost of construction. I don't know if many of you heard, but just the other day, I paid $8.35 for a 2x4. Just a few years ago, or even probably a few months ago, that 2x4 was $3 or $4. So we're seeing that come through in raw materials costs. We're seeing a decreased labor supply, and we're seeing supplier delays from COVID. So all those things are driving up the cost of construction. To top it all off, we have a short supply for buyers. So what's happening is if you're going to sell your home, where are you going to go next? So if you don't have a place to go, you're likely not to sell, right? So that decreases our supply even more. And then of course you have some people downsizing and down trading. But what's happening with that is some of the buyers that could spend $300 or $400 on a home are maybe settling for a $250,000 house that they can improve. So that then takes that mid-market and affects it greatly, because then you have a cash buyer, a 50% down buyer coming into the market and maybe winning that bid. Or people are just saying, I'm going to stay put. It's safer. We have a pandemic going on. I'll just remodel and make my house the way I want it. So that's been a big effect. here's a tremendous graph that I put together. And this is a stat that we've been tracking for years and years. And this is the month supply of inventory. And you'll remember in 2019, I presented the same trend. This is something that the consultants for the city of Valpo didn't look at, but we love to. We love to, as real estate professionals, take a look at this month supply of inventory because it tells you whether you have a balanced market or not, and at what price range you have a balanced market. And a balanced market would be a 5 to 7 month supply. So you see when the chart here started in 2016, a fairly balanced supply, right? The price range that's in red here had about a 7.2 month supply. That's nice. That's a good place to be. And you can already start to see that on the lower price ranges, we started to see a pretty low supply. But look at where we are today in 2020, and look at the precipitous drop in month supply of inventory. We are at historic lows. I feel like I'm saying this every year, but we are really at historic lows now. So if you list a home, you typically get 3, 4, 5 offers on it, multiple offers. For now, appraisals are keeping up on those, but at some point we might have trouble with appraisals if this appreciation continues. So we shall see. The school's out on that. But where we have an extreme shortage is certainly under 250,000. And that bears out in the data, as you can see here. The economics of this shortage, what's causing it? What's the cause and effect here? First of all, we are having dozens of immediately scheduled showings on homes. So when we list a home, all of a sudden you'll see 10, 20, 30 showings scheduled for some of these homes. So it's a complete parade of buyers. I tell my sellers right now, plan to just go away from your home for 2 or 3 days because it's going to be booked complete through that period of time. We are seeing multiple offers, as we mentioned, and then to top it all off, we're seeing an escalation in price. So some bidders are coming in at $2,000, $3,000, $5,000, $10,000, $20,000, even $30,000 over asking price for some of these homes. So it's a crazy market. It's something like we've never seen here in Valparaiso before, in my experience. Term improvements are occurring. So as people are bidding on these homes, they are basically buying them as is. They're waiving inspections sometimes. They are making all cash offers or large down payment offers. So people are having to kind of spice up their offer overall, other than just price, to stand out. Homes are selling in literally 1 or 2 days. Sometimes it feels like 1 or 2 hours. There is a solid progression toward closing right now because the seller tends to be in the driver's seat, right? They're kind of in that catbird seat where they can kind of prescribe what's going to happen to some extent. Obviously, if there's big repairs, the seller may have to deal with that. Then, of course, the buyer is searching for more supply. So they're going to the outskirts of town. They are looking at everything and try to find a home that they can live in. So I mentioned the housing study for Valparaiso. That is available online. I think when I'm done speaking, I'll throw up the link quickly for everybody. But if you digest that, you're going to see that the biggest increases I mentioned were young adults and seniors. You're going to see that they do mention the possible declining college enrollment, right? Especially during the year of the pandemic. We know a lot of students have decided to stay off campus this year. That trend could continue a little bit. I think Nick and others could talk more on that. We do see a shortage of rental homes, and we see a shortage of homes, especially in rentals, for very low income levels. And according to the study, it's pointed out that we might need as many as 800 units in Valparaiso at some point for very low income levels. Now, the home sales overall, or residents overall, are anticipated to grow from 35,000 to 40,000 residents. So you can see that over the next 15 years, we're still projected to grow at a pretty good clip. What is being done or will be done to address this shortage? Well, that's $1 million question, right? It's not an easy answer. One thing we're seeing is national and regional home builders move in. We are looking at local builders that are ramping up as fast as they can to build new homes. And we are seeing some new developments come online. So that has ramped up, I would say, certainly in the Planning Commission. We've seen more stuff come through our office. And I think Beth and the people in planning are seeing that, and they're seeing that at the county level as well. So the recommended strategies that the Valparaiso housing study pointed out from the urban partner group consultant that they hired was that, first of all, we need to encourage denser housing types in the downtown area. And you've seen a lot of that, right? You see Calkins Hill going in, you see St. Paul Square going in, multifamily attached type dwellings, or single family attached, let me say. That's gonna help some of our supply issues. One of the other things is to provide support and improvements in owner occupied housing stock. So there's some discussion possibly about allowing attached dwelling units, which means basically a carriage house type setting in the downtown area for people to live in, and be a little more open about that type of zoning. And so that would help as well. And then there's also the new program within Valpo where people can actually apply for help with improving their house. And then also number 3, encourage development in a variety of senior housing units. I'll talk a little bit about a senior housing project that's maybe coming on in the future. We have a lot of firms looking around to build more senior housing. Certainly that is a big need here as well. And then number 4, promote a balanced housing market with quality, diverse housing types at various price points. That's the biggest challenge, right? How do we build homes under 200,000? How do we build them under 250? Because as we all know, that's where the meat of our market is. And if we can't provide that anymore, what are we going to do? Residential developments in line or proposed in Valparaiso. So here's a little map of that. And you can see, we're going to start on the top left here. Iron Gate is proposed, or is actually happening, which is being built by Lennar, which is a national home builder. And Olthoff Homes is also building a community on the northwest side. If you look at the far right column, Hawthorne East is another Olthoff home development. And Olthoff has now jumped into kind of the $300,000 to $400,000 range with a lot of their homes. And so they are the ones, or one of the companies that's providing a lot of homes in Valparaiso. You'll remember they also did Mistwood on the west side of town off Harrison. Then you have the 270 home development, 270 to 300 home development, the Brooks at Vale Park, which is on the very west side of Vale Park when the extension is built. That's going to provide a lot of homes across the board. It's going to provide some single family attached condo type housing, and it's going to provide single family housing. So 270 homes is a lot of homes to add to Valpo. We can't wait for that to actually break ground from digging home foundations, that is, because they've already, as you've seen, moved a lot of earth over there. And then you have Calkins Hill, which is downtown. That's a development at the old White House site. There's going to be, and this is off the top of my head, but I believe about 15 homes that will be brownstone style along Morgan Avenue and Jefferson there. So really nice development. And it's going to be a beauty downtown. And then you have, of course, the Anco Journeyman area, right? That's going to redevelop. We think there's going to be a mix of housing that's going to be built down in there. That will definitely help our supply, but that's, it takes time to get that going. I believe the city's still looking for some development, and I believe there may be a senior component, senior housing component piece in that area as well. You'll see I pointed out a couple areas of need. Washington Township, almost no home supply in Washington Township right now. And the same goes for Morgan. I have a couple that wants a simple ranch on a decent sized lot, 300 to 400,000. We've been looking for 9 months for them. So the Morgan housing supply is terrible right now. And then there's one more housing development I pointed out that's a small one that Pathadia owns, and that's off Division Road and south, I think that's Sturkey Road. Some new stuff going on in the way of residences. So let's look at our trend on pricing, okay? Just a few years ago, and when I came back to Valpo, I remember that we basically hovered right around 172,000 for home prices on our median price range, okay? That kind of was a pretty level growth through 2015, 2016. And boy, did it ramp up. We are now looking at a $260,000 median house price in Valparaiso. And if you look at the average home price, it's actually $288,000 last year. So that shows you that the upper end new construction is really driving that median house price increase. It's a 40% growth since 2015 and 8.5% in just 1 year. So it's a tremendous growth spurt we're on here. Here's the price per square foot. You'll see that it, again, it hovered around $100 a foot for a long period of time. And then over the last 5 or 6 years, we've shot all the way up, 29% increase in 4 years to a very admirable number there, 125 a foot. Just keep in mind that a lot of these stats do not take into account direct from builder to home buyer stats. So some of those will be in here and some of those will not, but the MLS doesn't include them all. All right, so let's move into commercial. And if any of you have questions on residential, I'm happy to answer it when I'm done here. When we look at the commercial trends, what we see is a very big increase again in Illinois outmigration. Now, this isn't just happening at the residential level. This is happening at the small business level, the mid business level, and of course the large business level with a couple of huge announcements this week. The Grass is Greener campaign is bringing a lot of people here from Illinois to Indiana, lower taxes, great communities, and great commutability, which is going to be further enhanced by the South Shore Double Tracking Project. Plenty of new opportunities for business growth here in Northwest Indiana. We are talking to a lot of large companies that are dealing with consumables, assembly and distribution, manufacturing, and food. Food was a big searcher here for big space too. And then technical people that are doing communications and other things have been looking around Northwest Indiana. Certainly with COVID, we're going to see a possible short-term shakeup in restaurant and retail space. We think that some vacancy will be expected with that. We feel that office space may actually increase in demand as some of these new companies look to move here. And I think maybe instead of renting, large expensive spaces in Chicago or Illinois, let's say, they may want smaller spaces here. So I'm actually predicting that I think office space in our area will hold its own right now. We see a huge shortage in both large and small flex type buildings. I can tell you right now that we could probably sell another, 30,000 square foot building if we had it. We could probably sell another 80,000 square foot building. The communities that we're competing against right now tend to be Indianapolis, Lafayette, South Bend, and Warsaw for that business. So the Highway 49 corridor and Highway 30 corridor is critical for our ability to garner that business. And then office space as a whole, you won't believe some of these numbers, but numbers that you used to see in major metros are now creeping in here. We're seeing office and medical go for anywhere from 22 to 28 bucks a square foot all in. So it's gone up quite a bit. A couple of large announcements this last week or in the last couple of weeks, and one that we were part of. We were very happy to be able to help bring Amazon here to buy the large spec building out on Highway 49 at Vale Park in the lakes of Valparaiso. They bought the 80,000 square foot building. In addition, they've acquired 2 additional parcels to go with that. They've invested over $5 million in the building alone, plus all the money in the property, and then they're going to even put more in. So that's going to be a last mile logistics facility for them that they can actually transport some of their electric delivery vehicles out of as well. And that's over 100 jobs plus all the construction jobs it's going to bring. And then another one that was a big surprise for everybody was this window and wall company called Ecos. They are bringing they are actually going to bring online 120,000 square feet of space at an investment of about 11 million, over 110 jobs and manufacture and office out of that location. So huge news that we're very excited about. And also, here's kind of a map on what's going on with commercial development. I know I only have a few minutes left, so I'm going to try to wrap this up quickly. You see all the locations there. There's a ton of them around. 130 and 149 we think will develop on the west side of town. There's almost no services on that side of town. Viking Place on the north side and the old Kmart site will develop. We have some great lots available there and a lot of people looking there. It's very exciting to see what may go on at Viking Place. Highway 30 West is starting to develop. Highway 30 East is our industrial corridor, if you will. And then as you go up the spine of 49, you see all the other developments that are online or coming online. So in short, here's your forecast for 2021 and the next year. We expect a continued rise in residential median sales price. I'm predicting that could go up as another 5% to about 273. I think we're going to continue to see a shortage of homes. There's no surprise about that from the data I just showed you. Interest rates, I'm concerned they're going to rise a bit because of inflation concerns. And if that happens, a lot of people will stay put in their homes. So hopefully interest rates don't go up too much. We think that more national home builders are going to continue to look around here, and we're going to see more mid to large corporate investment in Valparaiso. So that's a wrap. I do want to mention that Mary Casca is also on the call, I believe, and she's at our office as well as a residential broker. So hi, Mary. Thanks.
Does anyone have any questions for Matt? No? All right, Matt. Well, thank you very much. How exciting, interesting, all that's happening right here in our community and in the residential. Of course, it's all near and dear to our hearts, but also the commercial is exciting for Valparaiso. So thank you for your part in it and for bringing this to us today.
Thank you, Dawn, for having me on. Happy to help.
Absolutely, absolutely. And for your presentation and time here today, we will donate a children's book in your name to the Valparaiso Public Library.
Thanks, that's great.
And I'm sure if any of you have questions, you know absolutely where you can get a hold of Matt. Next week, we have Andrew Lucas, who will talk to us about wills and trusts. And the last thing I have before we close is that there is a board meeting today. So those of you that are board members, if you would please, and those of you that are committee chair people that are presenting at the board meeting, you could leave this meeting and then hop on to the link that I sent for the board meeting at 1 o'clock. If there's nothing else, we'll close with the 4-way test. Please join me. Of the things we think, say, or do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Thank you, everyone. Have a great week. Take care. Bye-bye.